Hey friends, welcome to our first Mental Health Monday video. Today we are going to start with the paintings that I did when I first started out. We're going to be doing a lot of wet on wet technique, just laying down color, and then make sure to get your pens or your pencils or even paints or markers out because we're going to be writing some positive quotes over top. Before we start, I just want you to take a deep breath, let go of the idea of perfection, and just paint. Let's begin. So through this exercise, I don't want to be talking too much, but I do want to guide you a little bit of how to go through this. So as you can see, I taped down 2 pieces of paper and I just taped it to a cardboard backing from a previous watercolor pad. And this is just because we are going to be using a lot of water, so I want to make sure that it lays nice and flat so it's easy to paint on. And what you're going to do is you are going to be getting a large brush, and you don't have to do 2 papers at a time. I'm just doing that for this video. You can do 1 at a time. But what you're going to do is you are just going to lay a bunch of water on the background of the paper, and then you're going to take some of your favorite colors, colors that make you happy, that bring you joy, or maybe some colors that you are feeling inside. It could be darker colors, blacks, grays, maybe blues, or you could even pick something a bit more cheery like the ones I have picked to be a bit more uplifting. And you're just going to experiment with the way the paint can move through that wet background. This is the beauty of watercolor and the wet on wet technique. It is unlike any other paint that if you drop it into a wet surface, you get these explosions and these marks that no other paint can make. So I want you to just experiment through the paint's movements and just see what kind of marks you can make. Release all pressure of creating something that resembles an object. Just create marks and watch the water and the paint move through the paper. I really want you to release any kind of thoughts that you need to create certain marks or certain strokes that resemble something, whether it's going to look good in the end or not. I just want you to put that paint on your paper. Some tips of different colors to use are colors that will blend nicely together. So if you have colors on the color wheel that are sitting next to each other, like for example this, we have blue, purple, and pink. All of those colors mix really well together, so no matter how you lay them down, if you mix them, layer them, it's all going to mix and create some harmony on your page. However, if you add some contrasting colors like purple and yellow together, you might get a bit more muddy browns or grays, which is totally fine for this exercise. The whole point is to put that paint on paper and just watch the watercolor dance through that wet surface. I don't want you to focus too much about the outcome of the painting, but more rather the process of the painting, of seeing those wet colors intermingle with each other and just move throughout the paper. One thing I do want to make you aware of is that depending on the paper and paint that you are using, your outcomes may look a little different. I am using 100% cotton paper here that I got off Amazon. It's Paul Rubens. It's actually like the sparkly paper that I wanted to try. You don't have to use high quality materials for this. And I know that when I started out, I started with like the cheapest Artist Loft paints and paper. And they were still able to create these beautiful watercolor backgrounds and washes. But just know that certain paints are going to react differently, certain papers are going to react differently. So don't focus on necessarily what mine looks like, but kind of just enjoy the process of how your paper and your paints react to this exercise. Now, my tip about taping your paintings down on a board is so you can lift your paintings off the table and you can twist and turn them and let them drip naturally. And again, that is just something to enjoy and watch. Here, I'm just adding some clean water from my jar on my brush and tapping it into the top and just watching those water drops run through the paintings. So not only does this look really cool, but it's very therapeutic to watch. So that's why I suggest taping your paintings down to a board that you can move around so you can tilt it and turn it. I also want you to experiment with some paint splatters, doing some wet on wet so your background is still all nice and wet and you're using that wet paint to just kind of splatter on top. And instead of making these sharp dots, they kind of have these little mini explosions, almost look like stars. And that's a really fun texture to add to your painting and also a lot of fun to do. For this one, I wanted to show you another example using only one color and using the color black and just having one pattern of just dots and just seeing how those colors explode on that wet surface and just enjoying how they naturally move through the wet paper, tilting it, adding more dots, and just kind of enjoying the natural patterns that it makes. You don't have to use bright colors if you're not feeling bright colors. Just put your paint on paper. And the last technique I want you to try with this is just splatting some clean water onto your paintings. It repels the color and creates this awesome texture. Once all of your backgrounds are dry or your single background that you did, I want you to get out your writing tools. You can use a pencil, a Sharpie, a black pen, a regular pen. You could use paint, markers. I love using a black ink pen, and then I have this Uniball Signo white gel pen that I'm going to create some white writing over top. If you don't have that, you could use white ink, white gouache, anything you want to write your quotes, and then we can begin. If you're unsure what to write, it could be something as simple as love yourself or be kind, anything that's just positive. I like to look for quotes on Pinterest or Google and read through them and see things that really speak to me. And I will tend to write that down. So grab your tools and just start writing anything. It doesn't have to be fancy. Some of these I will do with faux calligraphy. This one is just my handwriting. The other ones you'll see I am doing some kind of like just cursive with my pen, and then just on the downstrokes I'm thickening them up to look like faux calligraphy. Do it however you feel. It does not have to be like mine. Do whatever speaks to you and write down those words that you need to hear, whether you believe them or not. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really hope you guys liked it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and join me back here next Monday for our next Mental Health Monday video. Have a great day, guys. Bye.